You know, I love Into the Woods, a lot of beautiful life lessons. It's my favorite show. But In the Heights is the show that I can watch and be like, yeah, I know that person, I know him, I know her. I had a crush on a girl that looked like that girl. I had, there's a dude that worked at the corner store that looked like that guy. She reminds me of my grandmother. You know, I used to eat that at dinner, like that kind of thing, you know. So this show, you know, my first experiences was in school, and then I went and saw it finally for the first time, but right before it closed, in my last year of school. And it just changed the game for me, man, because I was feeling pretty down about my chances at making it in this industry in general. Because I was like, ain't nobody writing a lead role for me.
You know, there was talk about this happening. There were different versions over the past 10 years, you know.
Right.
But when I had to go in and pitch and kind of sell myself, actually. But when I read the script and saw the wonderful kinds of changes that were made to enhance the script and make it more current and open it up in a really beautiful way, I felt that I was able to, that I had something to bring to the party with regards to that character that I know just because of my uncles, my tios, and just growing up, that the expectations that he has for his children and his community and his family, and I besides checking off a box on the bucket list about being involved in some way in a musical, it was a joy that it manifested itself the way it did.
Full credit to Jon M Chu, who always was reaching for the version of the song that you couldn't do on stage. Like when we stumbled on the High Bridge pool, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where we swim in the summers. And he was like, well, 96,000, you know, in the script, it's on a city block. But then again, he dreams bigger for us.
I knew already from experience, writing the stage version of In the Heights is like building a house of cards. Like it's a very balanced process. And if you change one lyric or change one scene, something over here needs to be adjusted as well. So I was prepared for that in the movie. I knew once we start making one change, the other necessary changes will reveal themselves. And I'm trying to think of where it started, but I think one of the early discoveries was that the song Everything I Know was not working in the screenplay in the like really powerful and emotional way it worked on stage. Nina realizes she will go back to Stanford, even though it is not a place she feels fully at home or comfortable, even though it's costing her family a tremendous amount of financial sacrifice. But that wasn't working in the screenplay. And what we realized is like this powerhouse song tells the back row of the theater that she's having this emotional realization. Whereas when you can get close up on a screen, after just 5 seconds of looking at her face, you feel that she's made the transformation. The song actually goes slower.
When the sun goes down, he had the idea of this like anti-gravity dance up the side of the building, complete with fire escapes and leaking air conditioners. And in an aside to me, he goes, I just wish the song were longer because this is really expensive. And I said, well, it can be longer, because I already knew that Sunrise wasn't going to make sense in the new chronology of the song. So I said, what if the dance climax of When the Sun Goes Down is Sunrise? And I like ran to the piano and figured out how to make them sing at the same time and then like go into the sunrise motif. So like, again, like always kind of pushing towards the more cinematic answer every time. And I think it shows.
The film was obviously meant to come out last June and now it's been delayed. Do you think that it's taken on even more of a significance over the last 12 months in the way that when it actually finally appears?
I think it definitely has. I used to think that this is crazy. I literally just think of the lyrics all the time. Every time that I speak, I'm like thinking of what lyric it is. I thought that like 2020 was a perfect moment for it, and I was definitely bummed when they pushed it. But now I'm like, actually, this is even a more perfect time for it. Like, after what we've been through in the last year, the world needs a movie like this. The world needs uplifting. The world needs joy. The world needs celebration. And you know, the situation of the country and our community has not changed much over the last year. So I think it's still very relevant.
I think what stays with me is shooting underground. Shooting underground. I remember one time, I know this is not the question you're asking, but we were shooting so far down, like 3 levels. Like it was like going down to like hell or something, except it was Paciencia Fe world, which was magical. But I remember, you know, shooting movies, it's like time is money, hurry, come on, let's go, let's get some shots, then we got to turn it around, and then it's like the MTA, it's like, we got to shut the train because the garbage train is coming. And we're like, what? And we had to stop production for like ever, and John he was pulling his hair out. We had to wait for the garbage truck that took forever. You know, all the extras were like, the dancers were exhausted already, and they were like, you know, you got to keep going or else forget it. You're toast. But I think it was shooting in the subways that I'll never forget that.
That whole summer was just a blur. Like at this point, it just feels like it was so. I mean, Leslie said it. There were so many moments that it's really hard to kind of like pick your favorite, but. I definitely remember, I don't know why, but like 96,000 was like, you know, not Carnival and 96,000, because those were the moments we were all together. Like, and Leslie, like she came to set, I remember on 96,000, it's raining, you know, in the movie, it looks like it's like,
what's going on?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the film, in the play, the hottest day of the year. It was the coldest day of our shoot in the middle of the summer with like storm and rain, but we made the most of it because that's what we do.
The director session was a bit crazy because that was the first time in the room with Jon, Quiara, Lin, and I was reading with Anthony Ramos. So on the inside, I'm just here like kind of fangirling over all the amazing people. But on the outside, I was like, okay, you know, I came here to do my thing. Like, let's show them what I got. And I actually found out I got the role through a FaceTime call with Lin. And he just called me. I don't have his number. He just called me and was like, do you want to be a part of this? And I was like, yeah, sure. It would be an honor.
For me, this was my first film. So I felt a lot of like, wow, there's so much I don't know. I'm not worthy of this incredible experience. I'm going to ask as many questions as I can. I'm going to be there on the days that I'm not, you know, supposed to be there and soak up as much as I can and try and learn, because I know I don't know enough to do this. And everybody just shared their incredible amount of like just knowledge so generously. And it really spoke to the community that we built, not only for our movie, but like just every day that we were preparing to tell this story. We were leaning on each other, whether it was me leaning on Corey as my partner on screen and dance partner, him leaning on me like at the studio, you know, like, yo, is this cool? You know, same goes for Mel and Ant, like, you know, and us leaning on the dancers, us, you know, partnering with dancers that had done it, you know, have done it forever and have trained all their lives. They would share their wealth of knowledge with us.
Well, knowing that once upon a time, a young Lin-Manuel came to see Rents, you know, and was blown away. And that kind of feels completely full circle, to know that I was in a piece that inspired a young person to go even further with what he probably would have gone really far with anyway, but to like really feel like there was a place for him and permission for him to express himself the way he wanted to.